Hey fam, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining me. This is going to be another all signs tarot reading. Just a general reading full of positive vibes because that's what I like to share. Sometimes we get down to the nitty gritty, but I'm always going to lift right on back up because I tend to interpret these as messages of encouragement. So if that sounds like exactly what you need right about now, thank you so much for keeping me company. I appreciate it. Okie dokie, I have pre-shuffled, and now we're going to cut the decks together, starting with the archetypes. I don't know about you, fam, but I have been fumbling all over the place. I tried filming multiple times yesterday and just kept getting interrupted and this and that and the other thing, and any time that I thought it was safe, it was not. So, hopefully it's just you and I. Starting with the medallion. I got a glimpse of this the other day, and I was kind of waiting for it, if you don't mind me. The amulet, the talisman, the heirloom. The passing on of sacred objects is an ancient ritual within families, between lovers, and in tribes across the globe. We gift jewels, treasures, keepsakes, and mementos of all kinds, some of great material value, others that hold emotional resonance, and still others with both. Yet when these gifts are bestowed upon us, it is important to recognize that they may bind us to an unspoken agreement or promise. When the medallion card appears, be aware of how the objects you hold dear may be embedded with unconscious energy or expectations, materials that hold consciousness, and it's time to reconcile the vibration of the objects around you. What do you covet and collect? Why? Is there an object you have held on to for years that you are ready to release? Perhaps it is time to reach for the medallion that aligns with your deepest values. That's kind of a message that's been coming up here and there, if I'm not mistaken and remembering correctly. Maybe it's just my personal reading. Shit, here we go. But it feels like that's a reminder that there are things that we have that we may not be consciously realizing how they affect us, but they're in our midst, right? They're in our daily lives. We look at it, we're so used to it, we don't even think about it anymore, but it's affecting us. And this feels like a bit of a reminder to check in on that kind of stuff. Maybe we just weren't ready to before, and we are now, right? Let's move on to, oh my goodness, I switched things around. Let's move on to the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck. This is also this is a repeater. Not quite as common as the Phoenix card, but I feel like this is definitely one of those times when the two go hand in hand. This is for someone who is a bit of an escapist, a bit of a daydreamer. You know what I mean? You're always lost in your head, dreaming of what abouts and what ifs. And sometimes those dreams aren't so good and we get caught in a loop. You know what I mean? Either way, there are those caught in loops. And it's one thing to kind of daydream because you're stuck in a stressful moment or whatever, needing a vacation. But it's something else entirely to spend the entire day in daydreams just so that you can get through the entire day. Something's going on if that's the case, and you need to come home to yourself. This is also one of the first two cards in the section for the mermaid cards. Everyone wants to escape their lives occasionally. Some of us like to binge watch shows, Some of us like to listen to music. Some of us like to read. And some of us like to leave it all behind and go on vacation. All of that is totally healthy. Our lives can get incredibly stressful. However, too much escapism can mean that you're not confronting a big problem, which isn't healthy for you. Face it head on and let the pieces fall wherever they may. I'm going to take it a step further and remind you to be acquainted with your resources, what you can tap into at your disposal. Sorry, the cats are catting right about now. If that means therapy, meditation, whatever helps and enables your soul to remember how to purr on its own again. Okay? But like I said, these two I feel like are coming in hand. So there are things within your dwelling that maybe you need to maybe they just don't belong there anymore, being in your face, right? Maybe they can go up to the attic. Maybe it's time to pass them on to somebody else, have a yard sale or whatever you're able to in your area, donate them or something, you know what I mean? Because sometimes we get so caught up in our daily lives and those small things that are just not so urgent that they get overlooked, right? Bam, what time is it? If you're new here, it's clarification time. So, just so that you know, it's YouTube. We're going to lighten the mood. And with the tarot, I have a tendency to consider it like its own story, right? This is the prologue, right? And each card can be its own chapter. Sometimes it's like two different parts in the same book. Either way, I tend to love how they line up. So what's going to be chapter 1? Oh, it's so quiet. I love it. The High Priestess fan. So, do you already know what we're talking about today? You just like to hang. I appreciate the company too. This is your intuition just doing its thing. Being able to vibe out and trusting your intuition, being connected with the universe, with the earth, all of that good, right? Maybe that's something you're working on, trying to kitty, seriously. These cats are wild in today. They're very upset that I'm doing this before giving them their canned food. They have plenty of kibble, don't worry about it. They're just getting feisty. They're calicos. It's what they do. See? That wasn't just a sneeze. That was an opinion being made. So, there's comfort. And you know how like they talk about with the moon card that there's a lot being hidden from you. That's just not eliminated right now. This High Priestess is not worried about moments like that. Because she knows that magic is still afoot, if you will, right? That life is still lifing. Part of the growth can equal, at least in the beginning of the transformation and everything being new and opening yourself up to all possibilities and the unknown, is fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of what can still happen, just in case what's happened before isn't quite done with your scent. You know what I mean? The High Priestess, like with this energy, you're able to recognize come what may is just fine. Because thankfully, things are always changing. Being secure within oneself, because your instincts, your intuition are on point. Knowing that as biological beings, we still have people and things to lose. We still have feelings to experience as well, right? And it's okay because it's cyclical, not linear, right? Life is gonna life. And it's okay because you're gonna be fine. Whatever happens, you'll be able to handle accordingly. You've learned so much. Good, bad, ugly, all of it. You've learned so much. You know how to trust yourself now. So what are you holding on to that doesn't belong to you anymore? If it ever did. What's number 2? What? Because it doesn't feel like just one. It doesn't feel like it's us. You know what I mean? It feels like that's a life. That's been a part of life. You know, taking what you can glean from the experience and getting the heck out of Dodge. Some people may feel like they're being left behind. But the thing for me with this card, you know, tends to be referred to as the thief of the tarot. It speaks of lies and deception, being cheated out of things or on. But the way it keeps coming out and how I perceive it in my readings is like making off like a bandit. Recognizing, accepting how life has been, and gaining that wisdom, that clarity on the circumstances, and accepting it and moving the frig on. Getting out of Dodge figuratively, if not literally, right? Because it's a perception thing, right? What's going on with this reading? I mean, any reading really. It's a perception thing. So who's the one making off with all the knowledge, all of that wisdom gained, and leaving people behind? Because there's still 2 back there, and 2s speak of beginnings. And this High Priestess is a 2. Thank you, I thought so. We have 32 up here. But we also have, what is this, 59? And 9s speak of the end of a cycle. The 7 of Swords certainly thinks they know what they're doing. What's the 3rd card? The King of Swords. Alrighty then. So, in a way, these 2 are kind of this round, seeing them together with only 1 card in between them. They kind of seem similar. Like the yin and the yang of one another. Right? Except the High Priestess has no need for weapons. And the King of Swords doesn't either. But he's capable. There's been a lot of swords action going on. A lot has been affecting our minds, always really, but there's something being worked through that has finally been able to be reached in this process of transformation and healing and growth. Something that was buried a bit deep. And there's now clarity. There's now understanding like never before. And now that you've reached this point, having already battled through the 8 and the 9 of Swords, you've made it to the King. So it's like your mind is able to be on point again. And you're secure. Or someone is. Someone is very secure within themselves and how they think and who they are. There's no confusion. What's the next card? Boosh. How interesting that it's another 7. And not only is it the Cups, but it's a 7 of Cups. So First, I feel like clarity is needed because there are so many ideas. There's so much that has been held back on that is ready to be released and to thrive. But the way, like the silhouette of this person, the way that they themselves are in darkness is speaking to me of, now that you've got it, what are you going to do with it? I don't know. I've never been here before. Where am I? You know what I mean? Like being unsure because you're used to survival mode. You're used to having to deal with people who are rude, disrespectful, who take you for granted. But what do you do when everything's going well? And you're met with smiling faces that actually seem genuine. And it feels right. If the Pomodoro comes up in the extra notes again, I'm going to crack up. You know that, right? Because that's what I'm thinking of right now, is when there's so much you want to do, sometimes it helps to use the Pomodoro method and just set a timer, dude. Just set a timer, 20 minutes, and then you take a 10-minute break. Take a little breaky poo. But stay on task, follow through. Once your break's done, get right back to doing stuff. And the difference between having a break and a lunch or whatever the heck at work is, that's what you do to pay your bills. Even when you love it, right? It's still what you're doing in order to pay your bills. There's that money, that financial connection, right? Versus being in your own sanctuary and doing things that you're choosing to do in your life. No matter what, follow through. Because you deserve to experience your hopes and dreams come into fruition. You deserve to reach the goals that you've set for yourself in your own personal time, your hobbies, your side hustles, whatever it is that you've been wanting to do, that you've been dreaming of doing, that you've been getting lost in those daydreams about. One by one, baby, follow that mood. Follow your heart, follow your desire. Follow this new path that you have chosen for yourself. This is when you get to choose, what do you want to be a part of your reality, and what do you want to keep for dreams to be able to enjoy in La La Land, right? And begin pulling on those threads. What's going to come up underneath the High Priestess? Wow. The Knight of Pentacles. Okay. It's taken you a long time to reach this point. To reach a point where you have been able to begin trusting yourself and trusting your intuition. Others probably have no idea what the heck's been going on with you. And that's okay. I think some have been noticing the growth. They've been noticing the changes because you're bringing it into the 3D. You're drawing it from yourself and bringing it right on out, right? It's in your walk, the way you hold yourself, the way you treat others and talk to others. There's even an ever so slight difference that can be picked up on. You've been spending this past year or so changing. A lot of us have, right? And it's all for the better. It's all for the better. This is you being secure within yourself, which you have every right to. What's going to come up underneath the Seven of Swords? Wow, there's our 8. 7, 8, 9. This is a lot of dedication. This is a reminder of taking all of that wisdom, taking everything that you've learned thus far in your life and figuring it out. away from the distractions, away from the noise of life, right? Getting to that nitty-gritty, whether it's for a new job, you've gone back to school, there's something specific that you've been really focused on that's been getting your dedication, your drive. And this person seems to be doing a darn good job with these pentacles. My goodness, they're so good. Look at them climbing the walls. What's coming up underneath the King of Swords? There's our 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. This is wish fulfillment, life fulfillment, your heart and soul, your creativeness, all of these new thoughts and feelings and ideas, all of this growth fulfilled. Look at how it's coming up underneath. What was I saying about the King of Swords? You know what fulfills you now. You know what matters. And that makes it easier to choose these things, to choose what you're spending time with, what you're focused on, and what it can also do. Like, think of how you would feel in that moment. What's that Neville Goddard question I ask nearly every single video? How would you feel if you were free? How would you feel? Stop worrying about the particulars, the expectations, the particulars and the outcomes. Know how it would feel to have it all, to have what you want. What is the root cause of the particulars that you want? The type of house you want, the type of car you want, the clothes, the way you present yourself. Why and for how long have you wanted those specifics? We're getting down to the roots now, not the symptoms, the roots. It's been a long time. A lot of work has gone into this, rightfully so. You don't need to stay connected to people that bring you down, that don't give a shit. But there was clearly still a lesson there. Thanks. Bye. You know what I mean? Like in South Park with the Priuses. Thanks. As they just take off. What's coming up underneath the Seven of Cups? The King of Wands. There we go. There's that Phoenix energy that has been so present, right? He's even got the salamanders with him and his gold throne. And he's looking back over everything like, damn, I earned that. Right? Worked hard for it. All that courage to make it through what you've been through, the resilience, the clarity. Your heart, mind, and soul working in concert and thriving. There isn't just divine masculine energy being represented. There's divine feminine and balance being represented. We got some double sevens, some double kings, but we also have 7, 8, 9, 10. There's been a lot of chronological as well as a lot of chronological order and synchronicities happening lately. It's that reminder that while we still have our free will, life is gonna life. You know, we keep aging. No one's figured out how to stop that shit. Right? There's always certain things that are going to be linear and dependable, right? Some people will be dependable. This is family, but it doesn't have to be your typical heterosexual family, right? With the 2.5 kids and all that. another cat opinion over there. But it's what you've been working toward. Whatever fulfillment and happiness and joy looks like for you. It's yours. What's the epilogue to this incredible story? Boosh, holy cow pie, Batman. We got the 8 of Wands now. That's 2 8s. And this one speaks of things like spontaneous adventures, going on vacation, a message coming in, one that you've been waiting for, and yet, maybe you knew it was coming. You know it's time. We've been on the precipice, haven't we? What's on the bottom of this deck? There we go. There's the 4 of Swords. Blocking out the distractions. Remembering the sound of your own opinion, your own heartbeat. You have no one to fight anymore, so you can just put up the swords. You've been learning, figuring things out because you're done with the loops. You're done with mere fantasies. You're ready to live. But if anything does happen, you know how to handle it. It's going to be like nothing. And moving on, right? What are the extra notes to this one? Oh, fancies. I love synchronicities. I like to think of them as the thumbs up from the universe. Like, yes, keep going, right? And there was multiple readings recently where I had 4 and even 5 9s on the table. Like, what the heck? Between all of the cards, right? It's like, okay, so a point's being made, eh? All right, hello. Lovely conversation we're having here. And next, why do you keep asking the same question? I don't know what question exactly that is. This is a general reading for, the mood right now. Whatever it was that you were needing to hear is why you were drawn to this video. What's been looping for you? And why? Is it time to let it go? What's on the bottom of this one? Wounded Warrior. I saw that in passing yesterday while I was shuffling the cards. Both Wounded Warrior and Wounded Healer. We gotta experience life in order to know life. And while I've always wanted to put my friends in bubbles, my loved ones in bubbles so that nothing bad can ever happen to them, damn it. I don't think I know a single person who would really let me do that. You know what I mean? Life is gonna life. But you've already been through so much. So much. I know that because not only do we have the 7 of Swords, but we have the King of Wands and the King of Swords. They've been there and done that. We have the Escapist. We have you being asked from the very first card, what is still there that doesn't belong there anymore? And what is it that you should be reaching for, that you want to reach for, that you long to reach for, right? Oh, fam. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading and keeping me company, even if you sped me up. I say it because I do it too. Sometimes it's like, whoa, but I still want to hang, you know what I mean? It's all good. There's only so much time in the day. And yeah, otherwise, always remember that I love you.